All right, I hate to sound like one of these incels on here. I mean, this incel account pops up on my feed from time to time, and it's a very depressing account. I mean, a lot of what it says is really just sad. And I listen. I'm a guy, right? I'm in my late 20s here, so I totally understand every ounce and feel every ounce of loneliness and struggle that us men go through. But I just wish there was more fight in us when it comes to truth, at least, and a hunger for that. But something like this, right? Once you understand that these two women are chasing the same man, you'll begin to understand the problem. And I have to agree with this because, at least here in the United States, right? I mean, I live in New Jersey. Maybe things are different, and I'm not saying this is all women by any means, but you know, I see so many women who look like this, who like I have like them on social media or something, or women that I knew in the past, right, that look like this now, or like they had kids or whatever, and now they look bad, or you guys get what I'm saying. They look like something along the lines of this, and it's just the stuff they post. I'm like, are guys really giving this woman validation? You know what I'm saying? And I'll be looking at their social media profiles, being like, wow, they have a lot of followers. Like, damn, they got a lot. Way more than me. And for what? Because maybe from time to time they'll post a slutty picture and they don't look good, these girls. And I'm just like, wow, like, so guys are really thirsty, horny, and lonely that they give these women that kind of validation, especially on dating apps and stuff. I mean, you can look up all the videos you want of the videos of women, like, guys will create an account of a woman who looks like this, and the amount of matches it gets is crazy. And obviously the United States, I'll show you another tweet here that goes right, well, I didn't tweet it, but goes hand in hand with this. In just 40 years, 42.8% of the US population became obese. Sure, we can blame corporations, ultra processed food, and additives, but at what point do we acknowledge personal responsibility? Thoughts? And as you can see, people in the 1980s, and this goes around on X a lot, stuff like this, comparing people how they looked back 40 years ago on the beach to now. Got the bubble guts, the beer bellies, the masks, of course. So I mean, it's real sick stuff when you look at how people live life today and their diet and all that. And people can't even do something simple. It seems like go for a walk an hour at least a day, or go to the gym a couple times a week. You don't have to go every day to the gym. If you've never gone to the gym, don't think for 1 second you need to go every day. If you could dedicate 3 days a week, or you start off with two or one even, I mean, you'll be surprised in what you see. All right, or you don't have to train to be a bodybuilder or a power lifter here. We're not training to be in the Olympics or anything like that. But we're training to be in optimal health, right? And that's what everyone should be doing. We shouldn't have to tell adults this, and that's the problem. And again, as I was saying before, I mean, I hate to sound like an incel, a hater or whatever, but the amount of women, from my experience, that look like this, that would reject a guy like me, who's pretty good looking, I would say, who, I mean, I have my own place, I have my own car, I have a job. I'm not rich by any means. My car isn't anything nice. My apartment isn't anything spectacular. Um, I go to the gym. I'm in shape. I know the truth. I know way more truth than the average person, that's for sure. But women don't care, right? Because I'm not tall. I'm a short guy. I'm very short. I'm below average height for a man. I'm below 5'8", so therefore a lot of women are gonna count me out of the dating pool based on my height, right? And of course I've gotten away with it because of looks and all that stuff, and of course being fit has helped, and developing character and charisma, and the type of job that I do has really helped me, of course, with women. And hanging around friends in the past, who've gotten women and introduced me to women and all that stuff. But man, it's just every year dating gets more weird and hard, and it's because these type of women, their standards are pretty much the same as this type of woman, a girl who's an 8, 9, or 10. So a girl who's like a 3, like this, I mean, 3 is generous, is going to expect to get a guy, let's just say, who's at least a 6 or a 7. Let's say more so a 7 or 8. This girl, of course, is not going to look at a guy unless he's like an 8, 9, or 10. But this girl, listen, you don't have to be 8, 9, or 10 for this girl. She'll definitely go after that guy and think she deserves that guy. That it's kind of like what this is saying is the problem is she thinks she deserves that guy, and many women do that they deserve that guy who's really good looking. Maybe he's jacked, maybe he's rich, maybe he's got social status, maybe he's really tall, handsome, all that stuff. A lot of women want him. So it's like even though they might not go for that guy and they know deep down inside that a guy like that wouldn't go for them, they still think based on all the propaganda that they could land that guy because here's the truth. The truth is they can have sex with a guy like that. Of course they could. Because a guy who's let's just say a guy who's a 7 or whatever or a 6 is going to lower his standards and have sex with a woman like her if he's feeling horny, you know? And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Listen, I think if two adults gives consensual agreement to sex with no strings attached, then it should be done with no strings attached and no issue afterwards if we're going to be adults about it. But anyway, that is the issue. The issue is women's standards. It's unrealistic. Their expectations are out of this world. You do one little thing wrong, they find the smallest things wrong with you, and they're out. You see, our issue with my generation is we don't want to get to know each other. Everything is for the aesthetic. Everything is based on looks. Everything is fake. Most things are. I'm not going to say everyone and everything, but most people and most things are fake. And everyone, of course, is going to think they're the exception. But if you don't know truth, if you don't understand truth, if you don't know these things, the simple things about, a concise history of the Federal Reserve, if you even know what the hell the Federal Reserve is, hey, why don't you go ask your partner if they know what the Federal Reserve is? That'll give you a really good idea if you know where their head is at. And if they do end up saying yes, give me a concise history about it. And let's just see what they say. Just see what they say to gauge where their consciousness is at. So, listen, this is a very deep topic. It all comes down to social engineering. The people who control the world, they've socially engineered women to really be monsters. Honestly, they've socially engineered at least the modern American woman because I think foreign women are the solution to the problem for American men. But I'll get to that in a bit. The powers that be, they've really manipulated women to be completely selfish and only care and think about themselves. They do not care about anyone but themselves and their feelings and their emotions. They're a complete slave to this modern feminism, modern feministic type world. They cannot see past their own solipsism and what they already have taken in to be true. That's the best way I could put it. To give you an idea on how the average American woman is. Listen, obviously these girls are difficult to deal with because they're attractive and pretty much every guy wants them for the most part. But these type of women, I mean, if mid women, if below average looking women especially, like just went with guys who are on their level, I think we'd see the dating crisis be solved. But obviously that's not happening because even girls that are, let's just say, between these two, like, let's say this girl is I don't think she's pretty, but I'm not really into blondes with blue eyes, honestly. But let's just say she's a 9. And let's say she's a 3. And then let's say we get a girl who's a 5 or a 6, right? The girl who's a 5 or a 6 is going to have the same standards pretty much as this woman right here. That's the issue. Of course, this woman can't have the standards of this woman. Otherwise, she'll just never get the the schlong ever. So again, this woman is not going to give a guy the time of day. Let's just say who's a 7, but this woman would, and the girl who is a 5 or a 6 might give the guy who's a 7 the time of day. Might. You're on thin ice though, but the girl who's a 5 or a 6 will definitely give the guy who's an 8, 9, or 10 the time of day. So again, in the end, and this is always the incels arguments, that the guy who is an 8, 9, or 10 is always going to win because it comes down to looks. And you know what? This is how the woman has been socially engineered. about it, it's all for looks, it's all for money, it's all for status, it's all, like I said, for the aesthetic, it's all for it's all for the materialness of it. So I know I said a lot here. I hope I said something that makes sense, but I mean, I'm briefly just describing to you what the issue is with dating. When you wonder like why is everyone single? I mean, it really comes down with the women, their outrageous standards and expectations, and then for the men, their um their fear of risk, right? Their fear of rejection. I would just say risk aversion. Men are afraid to take risks. I would say people in general, especially the younger people, whole generation, and especially younger, we're very afraid to take risks. Right? There's a whole article about it that I kind of touched on it briefly in a video. That 45% of men ages 18 to 25 have never approached a woman before, which is a really big number, of course. And it's because of risk, right? Men are afraid to take risks. And it's because men have been feminized, men have been pussified, men have been emasculated. And we need to fix this. There's a lot of work we have to do if we want to fix humanity. And I'm sorry, but hiding and tweeting about it, like I say with the truth community, which is the same thing the truth community wants to just do, is just sit and tweet and I don't know. I don't know. Hope and pray things get better without any real action. But listen, if you're not like at least trying to make things better and not just hating and spewing out negative messages out there and not communicating things in an intelligent way, then you can't expect people to change. So I said enough here. Let me know what you guys think.